Coming up, Iowa's third wave of COVID-19 brings fresh mask mandates.
And later, Hawkeye basketball is coming back to Carver Hawkeye Arena.
Welcome to DITV Now, your flash update on all the biggest headlines coming out of the Daily Iowan newsroom. I'm your host, Oliver Wilhelm.
And I'm Michael Merrick.
While a full mask mandate isn't in place yet, COVID-19 restrictions are tightening up across the state. Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds has extended the Iowa Public Health Emergency Declaration for another 30 days. She has also created new guidelines to curb the spread of COVID-19. Masks must be worn by everyone above the age of 2 at indoor events with more than 25 people in attendance. At outdoor events, more than 100 people must be in attendance to enforce the mask mandate. She also authorized that masks must be worn at places of service, like salons and barbershops. Social distancing between groups in public will be strictly enforced. Groups will be limited to 8 in public places, like restaurants, unless everyone is from the same household. These new guidelines are now in effect until November 30th.
Quarantine and online classes have influenced change in student health habits. DITV reporter Ashley Wheel has more on how students' health and wellness could be affected by this time stuck indoors.
Students coming into college worry about all sorts of health issues, including gaining weight. And this worry has only increased from being stuck in their homes and dorm rooms more.
The freshman 15 is a myth, so don't be so worried about it. If you generally have good eating habits, you're not going to gain 15 pounds. It is about choices that you're making.
Most students only gain 5 to 7 pounds in their first year. This can be due to less activity from sports or other physical activities that they did in high school. It can also be due to continuing to grow.
Students this year also may be more tempted towards snacking and using it as stress management.
You get bored, you snack, you get frustrated, you snack.
University Wellness and Counseling Services offer multiple tools to help you manage your stress, eating habits, and overall health and wellness. Overeating is not the only concern right now, as eating disorders tied towards not eating enough and overeating are also surfacing as more students have more control over their own schedule. The dining halls also offer tools and options to keep students healthy.
Apples, oranges, and bananas we have out all the time.
Your own eating habits will affect your overall health, and it's important to make sure you are eating enough without overeating and to be sure to seek counseling and help if needed.
From the University of Iowa, Ashley Wheel, DITV.
President Trump has still not conceded after concerns about voter fraud. Numerous studies debunk these claims, but President Trump and the GOP still believe that voter fraud has cost them the election. In February, 10 election security bills were on the legislative graveyard on Mitch McConnell's desk. As recently as September, Mitch McConnell condemned Democrats' concerns for election security as partisan hysteria, saying Republicans have made progress on election security since the Russian compromise 2016 election. This election has been decided in spite of intense voter suppression. In 2013, parts of the 1965 Voting Rights Act were overruled, allowing states that historically suppressed minority votes to change their voting laws as they saw fit. This made suppression techniques legal again. On Election Day in Georgia, long lines were seen as evidence of voter enthusiasm, but they were equally a result of voter suppression. Lines like these are not seen in almost any other democratic country. Voting in places like Australia is compulsory and mandatory, but the U.S. hasn't adopted similar voting strategies.
Last spring, COVID-19 ruined the basketball season for the men and women's team. On November 25th, basketball is back and both Iowa teams have high expectations. Women's coach Lisa Bluter said that this is one of the hardest off-seasons she's had, but wanted to give a lot of credit to the girls.
Well, just like this, our spring and summer have been very different. I couldn't ask for a better group of how that they've prepared and come into practice every day with masks and having to practice and just being very aware when they're away from the arena on how they have to be so careful to protect themselves and to protect our team.
Now, the men's team is starting the season ranked 5th. This is the first time they've ever been in the top 5 to start a season, and this team is stacked.
You know, we've got veteran guys coming back who have produced at this level, but at the same time, it won't change in terms of our ability to share the ball. I mean, it's a very unselfish group.
One of those veterans is preseason All-American Luka Garza. He was one of the best players in the country last year, and McCaffrey says Garza hasn't let off the gas one bit.
So I think you'll see a better player just because he's worked that much harder since the season ended. And he's on vacation, he's doing sprints on the beach. I mean, the guy's just relentless, and that's why he's great.
College basketball starts on November 25th. Game schedules aren't out yet, but they'll be released this week.
Continuing with the cooler weather, today we'll have a high of 47 degrees and a low of 29. It will be mostly sunny with a clear sky going into the night.
Thanks for tuning in to DITV Now.
We'll be back tomorrow with the latest from the University of Iowa, Iowa City, and Hawkeye Nation. From Iowa City, I'm Oliver Wilham.
And I'm Michael Merrick. Have a great day.